Good afternoon, student. In the last lectures, we have started with purification of water. In purification of water, there are mainly two methods. Purification of water on a large scale and purification of water on a small scale. So, we have completed with purification of water on large scale, in which we have seen the main three methods, that is storage, filtration and disinfection, in which we have seen all processes, methods, slow sand filter, rapid sand filter, and in disinfection we have seen about chlorination. So we have completed with purification of water on a large scale. So today we will start with purification of water on small scale. Small scale means small amount of water. Large scale means the large scale which will require for whole country or whole city. So it was large scale. So in purification of water on small scale, there are mainly two methods or two ways. First is household purification of water and second one is disinfection of wells. First, household purification of water. There are mainly three methods are generally available for purifying of water on an individual or domestic scale. These methods can be used singly or in combinations. So, here is the list of some of their methods. So, first is boiling, second, chemical disinfection, third one is filtration, fourth is ultraviolet irradiation, and fifth one is multi-stage reverse osmosis purification of water. But here 5 methods are given, but only boiling, chemical disinfection and filtration, these are the methods which we can use domestically. So we will see one by one. So first method is boiling. So boiling is the satisfactory method of purifying water for household purpose. To be effective, the water must be brought to rolling boil for 10 to 20 minutes. For effects, the water should be boiled up to 10 to 20 minutes. By boiling, it kills all bacteria, spores, cysts and ova and yields pure water. Boiling also removes temporary hardness of water by driving off carbon dioxide and precipitating the calcium carbonate. By boiling, the taste of water is altered, but this is harmless. While boiling is an excellent method of purifying water, it offers no residual protection against subsequent microbial contamination. Means if after boiling, if water is contaminated with any impurities, it has no effect on it because it has no residual protection. Like chlorine, the chlorine has residual protection. So boiling is excellent method, but it has no residual protection. Water should be boiled preferably in the same container in which it is stored to avoid contamination during storage. Means we should use the same container for boiling and for storing also to avoid contamination. So first method we have seen boiling. Second method is chemical disinfection. We have seen disinfection in large scale, in which we have used chlorine, ozone and some membranous methods. On small scale, we are using some substances like first is bleaching powder, chlorine solution, high test hypochlorite, chlorine tablets, iodine and potassium permanganate. So for chemical disinfection, we are using bleaching powder, chlorine solution, high test hypochlorite, chlorine tablets, iodine and potassium permanganate. So we will see one by one. First one is bleaching powder. So bleaching powder or chlorinated lime. So chlorine mixed with calcium. So bleaching powder, also called as chlorinated lime, its formula is CaOCl2, is a white amorphous powder with a pungent smell of chlorine. What is bleaching powder? Bleaching powder is also called as chlorinated lime. Formula is CaOCl2, means chlorine plus calcium. Is a white amorphous powder with pungent smell of chlorine. When it is freshly made, it contains 33% of available chlorine. However, it is unstable compound. When it exposes to air, light and moisture, it rapidly loses its chlorine content. So, for avoiding this loss, we should store it in cool and dark places. When it is mixed with excess of lime, it retains its strength, that it is called as stabilized bleach. As bleaching powder is an unstable compound, by exposure to air, light and moisture, it rapidly loses its chlorine content. But when it is mixed with excess of lime, it retains its strength. This is called as stabilized bleach. So bleaching powder should be stored in dark, cool and dry places in closed container that is resistant to corrosion. So by this we can avoid the loss of chlorine. The chlorine content of bleaching powder stocks should be frequently checked. The principle in chlorination is to ensure a free residual chlorine of 0.5 mg per liter at the end of 1 hour contact. In disinfection, we have discussed about what is residual chlorine and what is how much it is. So here is also same principle, that is principle in chlorination is to ensure free residual chlorine of 0.5 mg per liter at the end of 1 hour of contact. Highly polluted and turbid waters are not suited for direct chlorination. In chlorination, we have already seen, for chlorination the water should be filtered and it should be cleared. Second disinfectant used is chlorine solution. Chlorine solution may be prepared from bleaching powder. If 4 kg of bleaching powder with 25% available chlorine is mixed with 20 liters of water, it will give a 5% solution of chlorine. So how it is made? If 4 kg of bleaching powder with 25% available chlorine is mixed with 20 liters of water, it will give 5% solution of chlorine. In market, the ready-made chlorine solutions are also available. Like bleaching powder, the chlorine solution is subject to loses on exposure to light or on prolonged storage. So this solution is also should be kept in dark, cool and dry places in a closed container. Third disinfectant used is high test hypochlorite. The high test hypochlorite or perchloron is a calcium compound which contains 60 to 70% available chlorine. It is more stable than bleaching powder and it deteriorates much less on storage. The solution prepared from HTS are also used for water disinfection, in some cases for large amount also. So what is high test hypochlorite? It is also called as perchloron. It is the calcium compound which contains 60 to 70% available chlorine. It is stable than bleaching powder. Fourth chemical used for disinfection, it is chlorine tablets. Under the various trade names like halogen tablets are available in the market. They are quite good for disinfecting small quantities of water, but they are costly. The National Environmental Engineering Research Institute of Nagpur formulated a new type of chlorine tablet which is 15 times better than ordinary halogen tablets. A single tablet of 0.5 mg is sufficient to disinfect 20 liters of water. So how much chlorine tablet is required? Chlorine tablet of 0.5 gram is sufficient for 20 liters of water. Fifth chemical used is a iodine. This iodine may be used for emergency disinfection of water when chlorine is not available. So 2 drops of 2% ethanol solution of iodine is required for 1 liter of clear water, not turbid water. Iodine also used for clear water. A contact time of 20 to 30 minutes is needed for effective disinfection. Means after mixing iodine, we should wait for 20 to 30 minutes for effective disinfection. Iodine does not react with ammonia or organic compound to any great extent. Hence, it remains in its active molecular form over a wide range of pH values and water conditions, and it persists longer than chlorine or bromine. Chlorine reacts with ammonia and other organic compounds, but iodine does not react with ammonia or any other organic compounds. It remains in its active molecular form and it persists longer than the chlorine and bromine. But its cost is high and it has some physiological effects on body. As you know, iodine has effect on thyroid gland. So it is its major disadvantage. So iodine is very rarely used for the water disinfection. Next chemical used is potassium permanganate. It is a powerful oxidizing agent, but it is not a satisfactory agent for disinfecting water. Why? Because it may kill cholera vibrio, but is of little use against other disease organisms. It has other drawbacks also, such as it alters the color. You can see in the image the color of potassium permanganate is pink. So it alters the color of water, it gives smell and taste to the water. So it is very rarely used as a disinfectant. The third method for small scale purification it is filtration. First method is boiling. Second method is chemical disinfectants. Third method is filtration. So water can be purified on a small scale by filtering through ceramic filters such as Pasteur-Chamberlain filter, Birkefeld filter and Katadyn filter. These are names by the scientists who developed them. First is Pasteur-Chamberlain filter, second is Birkefeld filter, third one is Katadyn filter. So in image, this is the model of Pasteur-Chamberlain filter. The essential part of the filter is the candle, means the center part of the filter, candle. It is called as candle, which is made up of porcelain in Chamberlain type and by the infusorial earth in the Birkefeld filter. This is the Birkefeld filter. Third filter, that is Katadyn filter. The surface of filter is coated with silver catalyst so that the bacteria coming in contact with surface are killed by the oligodynamic action of the silver ions, which are liberated into the water. So in filtration there are three types of filter are used: Pasteur-Chamberlain filter, Birkefeld filter and Katadyn filter. In Pasteur-Chamberlain filter and Birkefeld filter, the important part of the filter is candle, the center part of the filter. It is called as candle, which is made up of porcelain in Chamberlain type and it is made up of infusorial earth in the Birkefeld filter. And in Katadyn filter, the surface of the filter is coated with silver catalyst. The bacteria coming in contact with that surface are killed by oligodynamic action of the silver ions. These filter candles of fine type usually remove the bacteria which are found in drinking water, but not the filter passing viruses. Means this type of filters are used to remove bacteria, but some viruses pass through these filters. These filter candles are liable to be lodged with impurities and bacteria, so they should be cleaned. So how should be they clean? They should be cleaned by scrubbing with hard brush under running water and boiled at least once a week. Only clean water should be used with ceramic filters. So for using this type of filters, the water should be filtered first on a large scale. So it is used in domestic purpose. Next method is ultraviolet irradiation. Germicidal property of UV rays have been recognized for many years. So UV irradiation is the effective against most microorganisms known to contaminate water supplies like bacteria, yeast, viruses, fungi, algae and protozoa, etc. So ultraviolet rays has a germicidal property. Against germicide means they can kill the germs. So germicidal property against bacteria, yeast, viruses, fungi, algae, protozoa, etc. This method of disinfection involves exposure of a film of water up to about 120 mm thick to the one or several quartz mercury vapor arc, which emits ultraviolet radiation at wavelength of 254 nanometer. So how much ultraviolet radiation required? It is 254 nanometer for disinfection. The water should be free from turbidity and suspended or colloidal constituents for efficient disinfection. So for this also, the water should be first go through the filtration by large scale. The advantages are that the exposure is for short period, no foreign matter is introduced into the water, and no taste and odor is produced due to UV rays. So what is the advantage of using UV rays? The advantage, the exposure is for very short period, no foreign matter is introduced into the water, and no taste or odor is produced. Overexposure does not result in any harmful effects. So it is very useful. But it has some disadvantages also. The disadvantage are that there is a no residual effect is available, and there is a lack of rapid field test for assessing the treatment efficiency. As in chlorination, we are using OT test for seeing its treatment efficiency. Here there is no residual effect is available. So it is difficult to test, that is where treatment is efficient or not. For which for application of UV rays we require the apparatus which are very expensive. Next method, it is multi-stage reverse osmosis purification of water. Multi-stage reverse osmosis purification process is used to make water both chemically and microbiologically potable by reducing total dissolved solids, hardness, heavy metals, and disease causing bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and cysts. One sec. In disinfection, we have seen about reverse osmosis. So what is reverse osmosis? Reverse osmosis is the process which is reverse of osmosis. So for which we should know what is osmosis first. If two solutions are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, that is the membrane that allows the passage of solvent but not the solute. The solvent will naturally pass from lower concentration of solution to the higher concentration solution. This process is called as osmosis. But by increasing pressure, which is we called as osmotic pressure, we force the flow of solvent in the opposite direction, that is from higher to lower concentration. This process is called as reverse osmosis. So by using multi-stage reverse osmosis purification process, we make water both chemically and microbiologically potable by reducing its total dissolved solids, hardness, heavy metals, and also disease causing bacteria, virus, protozoa, and cyst. The clarity cartridge removes the suspended particles such as dust, mud, and sand from the water. The reverse osmosis cartridge reduces the total dissolved solids, hardness, heavy metals like arsenic, lead, mercury, and it also eliminates microorganisms. So what we have seen first is household disinfection of water, household purification of water. Second method for purification of small scale, it is disinfection of wells. So we have already seen many things about wells, how is their structure, how they get polluted, how well water is polluted, many things we have seen. So in sources of water also we have seen wells are the main source of water supply in rural areas. There we have also seen about types of wells: deep wells, shallow well, tube wells. So now we will see about disinfection of wells. So wells are the main source of water supply in rural areas. The need often arises to disinfect the wells, sometime on mass scale, during the epidemics like cholera and gastroenteritis. The most effective and cheapest method for disinfecting wells is by bleaching powder. So disinfection of wells, it is important mainly during epidemics of cholera and gastroenteritis. The most effective and cheapest method for disinfection of wells is by bleaching powder. So there are some steps in well disinfection. So first step is find the volume of water in a well. Means how much water is present in the well we should first find. So how to find? First, measure the depth of water column, means H. Assume it is H and it is measured in meter. Second, measure the diameter of well, that is D, which is also measured in meter. Take the average of several readings of the above measurement. So first we have to measure the depth of the water column, that is height of the water column. Second is measure the diameter of the well. Then there is some formula for measuring the volume of the water, like volume in liters is equal to 3.14, that is pi. 3.14 into d square, that is diameter square, into the height or depth of the water column divided by 4 into 1000. So what is the formula? Volume in liters is equal to 3.14, that is pi, into depth of the water column into diameter of the well square divided by 4 into 1000. Here 1 cubic meter is equal to 1000 liters of the water. So by substituting the depth of the water column and diameter of well, we can measure the how much water is present in the well. So for well disinfection, first find the volume of the water which is present in the well. Second step, find the amount of bleaching powder required for disinfection. First we have found that how much water is present in the well. Second is find the amount of bleaching powder which is required for disinfection. The estimate that chlorine demand of the well of the water is done by Horrocks apparatus. It is the apparatus by which we can measure the chlorine demand of the water and calculate the amount of bleaching powder required to disinfect the well. This is the Horrocks box by the help of which we can measure the chlorine demand of the well water. Roughly 2.5 grams of good quality bleaching powder would be required to disinfect 1000 liters of water. How much it is required? 2.5 gram of good quality of bleaching powder required to disinfect 1000 liters of water. This will give an approximate dose of 0.7 mg of applied chlorine per liter of the water. So 2.5 grams for 1000 liter of water and 0.7 mg for 1 liter of water. This is the Horrocks apparatus. Then third step is dissolve the bleaching powder in the water. So we have measured how much water is present in the well. We have also measured how much bleaching powder is required. Third step is dissolve the bleaching powder in water. The bleaching powder required for disinfecting the well is placed in a bucket. Not more than 100 gram in 1 bucket of water. So that bleaching powder which is required, it is placed in a bucket and water is added to made into a thin paste. More water is added till the bucket is nearly 3/4 full. So the bleaching powder taken is not more than 100 gram in 1 bucket of water. If it is required more than 100 gram, take the another bucket. The contents are stirred well and allowed to sediment for 5 to 10 minutes when lime settle down. The supernatant solution, which is a chlorine solution, is transferred to another bucket and the chalk or lime is discarded, which is suspended at the bottom. The lime sediment should not be poured into the well as it increases hardness of well water. So what to do? First, take a bleaching powder, how much it is required. Take it into the bucket and water is added to it up to 3/4 of bucket and it is made into the thin paste and then it is stirred well and allowed to sediment for 5 to 10 minutes. And after 5 to 10 minutes, the supernatant solution, which is pure chlorine solution, which is transferred to another bucket and the chalk or lime is discarded. The lime sediment should not be poured into the well as it increases hardness of water. Then fourth step is the delivery of chlorine solution into the well. The bucket containing the chlorine solution is lowered some distance below the water surface and the water is agitated by moving the bucket violently, both vertically and laterally. The bucket containing the chlorine solution is lowered some distance below the water surface and that well water is agitated by moving the bucket violently, both vertically and laterally. This should be done several times so that chlorine solution mixes intimately with the water inside the well. Then contact period. A contact period of 1 hour is allowed before water is drawn for use. Means after mixing the chlorine solution, it is kept undisturbed for at least 1 hour. After that, water should be drawn. Then, as in chlorination, we have seen the test for free residual chlorine. Here also we apply orthotoleidine arsenide test. It is a good practice to test for residual chlorine at the end of 1 hour contact. If the free residual chlorine level is less than 0.5 mg per liter, the chlorination procedure should be repeated before any water is drawn. So, if the free residual chlorine is less than 0.5 mg per liter, the chlorination procedure should be repeated. The wells are best infected at the night after day's draw off. During epidemics of the cholera, wells should be disinfected every day. Then there are some methods which are used for disinfection of wells. The most commonly used method is double pot method. During an emergency, it is desirable to ensure a constant dosage of chlorine to the well water. Several simple and effective methods have been devised for this purpose, of which the pot method of chlorination is one which has been used for success in various countries. This method uses two cylindrical pots. So that it is called as double pot method. We use two cylindrical pots, one placed inside the other. First you see the image of double pot method. So here two cylindrical pots, one placed inside the other. The inside height and diameter are 30 cm and 25 cm respectively. Means the height of inner pot is 30 cm and diameter is 25 cm. A hole of 1 cm in diameter is made in each pot. In the inner pot, the hole is in the upper portion near the rim, and in the outer pot, it is 4 cm above the bottom. You can see in the image the two pots kept one inside other. The inner pot has the hole 1 cm diameter of hole at the rim of the water, and the outer pot has the hole which is also 1 cm diameter, but it is 4 cm from the bottom. A mixture of bleaching powder and 2 kg of coarse sand is prepared and slightly moistened with water, and this mixture is kept in the inner pot up to 3 cm below the level of hole. You can see in the image the bleaching powder plus coarse sand which is kept in the inner pot. The inner pot is introduced into the outer one, and the mouth of latter is closed with polyethylene foil. You can see in the image which is covered with polyethylene foil. The inner pot is filled with this mixture up to 3 cm below the level of hole. The use of two pots makes it possible to have a larger holes without the risk of overchlorination. The double pot is lowered into the well by means of rope attached to the well curb. The pot should be immersed at least 1 meter below the water level to prevent damage by buckets used for drawing water. So the pot should be immersed at least 1 meter below the water level. So it has been found that this double pot method, double pot device works satisfactorily for 2 to 3 weeks in small household wells containing about 4,500 liters of water and having draw off rate of 360 to 450 liters per day. So these are methods which are used for small purification on small scale. We'll revise in short. So today we started with purification of water on small scale. So we started with purification of water on a small scale, in which first method is household purification of water, means domestic purification of water, and second one is disinfection of wells. So in household purification of water, main methods which are used, that are boiling, chemical disinfection, filtration, ultraviolet irradiation, and multi-stage reverse osmosis purification of water. So what are the methods? Household purification methods. First is boiling, chemical disinfection, filtration, ultraviolet irradiation, and multi-stage reverse osmosis purification of water. So first method we have seen, boiling. It is very satisfactory and very commonly used method. The water should be boiled for 10 to 20 minutes. By boiling, it kills bacteria, spores, cysts, and ova, and it yields a pure water. Boiling also removes the hardness of the water. It alters the taste of water, but it is harmless. While boiling, it is the excellent method for purifying water, but it has no residual protection against subsequent microbial contamination. So water should be boiled in same container in which we are going to store it in. Then second method we have seen, chemical disinfection. So for chemical disinfection, we use bleaching powder, chlorine solution, high test hypochlorite, chlorine tablets, iodine, and potassium permanganate. So first one is bleaching powder. Bleaching powder, it is also called as chlorinated lime. It is the amorphous white powder with pungent smell of chlorine. When it is freshly made, it has 33% of available chlorine. As it is very unstable compound, on exposure to air, light, moisture, it rapidly loses its chlorine content. But when it is mixed with excess of lime, it retains its strength and it is called as stabilized bleach. So bleaching powder, should be stored in dark, cool, and in dry places in closed container. The principle of chlorination is to ensure free residual chlorine of 0.5 mg per liter at the end of 1 hour of contact. Second disinfectant use is chlorine solution. It is made by bleaching powder. 4 kg of bleaching powder plus 20 liters of water will give 5% solution of chlorine. The ready-made solutions are also available. Like bleaching powder, it is also losses on exposure to light or on prolonged storage. So this solution is also should be kept in dark, cool and dry places and in closed container. Third chemical used is high test hypochlorite or perchloron. It is a calcium compound which contains 60 to 70% available chlorine. It is stable than bleaching powder. The next chemical used is chlorine tablets. A single tablet of 0.5 gram is sufficient to disinfect 20 liters of water. Next chemical used is iodine. 2 drops of 2% ethanol solution of iodine, which is sufficient for 1 liter of clear water. After mixing iodine, there should be contact time of 20 to 30 minutes for effective disinfection. As chlorine reacts with ammonia and organic compounds, iodine does not react with organic compounds or ammonia, and it persists longer than the chlorine or bromine. But it is not used because it has disadvantage, like its cost is very high and it has physiological active action on thyroid. So it is less used. Next chemical used is potassium permanganate. It is a powerful oxidizing agent, but it has little action against disease organisms. It also has other drawbacks, like it alters the color of the water, smell and taste of the water. Next method used is filtration. In large scale, we are using filtration on large scale. It is household filtration. Here filters used are mainly of 3 types: Paschal-Chamberlain filter, Birkefeldt filter and Katadyn filter. The essential part of the filter is candle, which is made up of porcelain in Chamberlain type and by infusorial earth in Birkefeldt filter. So you can see the model of Paschal-Chamberlain filter, and this one is Birkefeldt filter. The third filter, that is Katadyn filter, it has the surface which is coated with silver catalyzed. The bacteria coming in contact with this surface are killed by oligodynamic action of silver ions. Filter candles of fine type usually removes the bacteria which are found in drinking water, but they cannot kill the viruses which passes through filters. These filter candles are liable to lodge with impurities and bacteria. They should be cleaned by scrubbing the hard brush under the running water and boiled at least once a week. Only clean water should be used for ceramic filters. So for using these filters, the water should be clear and the water should go through the process of filtration and disinfection on large scale. The next method used is ultraviolet irradiation. As we know, UV rays have a germicidal effects against many microorganisms like bacteria, yeast, viruses, fungi, algae, protozoa, etc. So the UV rays required for disinfection, it is 254 nanometer. The water should be free from turbidity and suspended and colloidal constituents for efficient disinfection. The advantage for UV rays use is exposure is for short period, no foreign matter introduction in water, no taste and odor is produced to the water. Even if there is overexposure, does not result in harmful effects, but it has some disadvantage, like it has no residual effect and there is a lack of rapid field test for assessing the treatment efficiency, and for using UV rays the apparatus which are needed are very expensive. Then multi-stage reverse osmosis purification of water. The multi-stage reverse osmotic purification process is used to make water both chemically and microbiologically potable by reducing total dissolved solids, hardness, heavy metals and disease causing bacteria, viruses, protozoa and cysts. The next method for purification of small scale, it is disinfection of wells. As we have seen, the wells are very important source of water supply in the rural areas. So there is a need for disinfection of wells, mainly during the epidemics of cholera and gastroenteritis. The most effective and cheapest method for the disinfection of wells is by bleaching powder. So there are some steps in well disinfection. First is find the volume of water, in which first measure the depth of the water column, that is the height of the water column. Second, measure the diameter of the well and substitute it in the formula, that is volume in liters is equal to 3.14 into d square, that is diameter of the well, into h, that is depth of the water column, divided by 4 into 1000. Here 1 cubic meter is equal to 1000 liters of the water. Second, after measuring the volume of the water in the well, the next step is find the amount of bleaching powder which is required for disinfection. It is found out by the using Horrocks apparatus. The Horrocks apparatus estimates the chlorine demand of the well water and calculates the amount of bleaching powder required for disinfection. Roughly 2.5 grams of good quality bleaching powder would be required to disinfect 1000 liters of water. Means 2.5 gram of bleaching powder required for 1000 liters of the water. So approximately 0.7 mg of chlorine is required for 1 liter of water. This is Horrocks apparatus. Third step is dissolve bleaching powder in the water. The bleaching powder which is required for disinfection is placed in a bucket not more than 100 gram and made it into the thin paste by adding water. Add the water nearly 3/4 of the bucket. These contents are stirred well and allow for sedimentation for 5 to 10 minutes. After sedimentation of 5 to 10 minutes, the supernatant solution, which is a chlorine solution, is transferred to the another bucket and the chalk or lime is discarded, which is sedimented at the bottom of the bucket. Here the lime sediment should not be poured into the well as it increases hardness of the well water. Then fourth step is delivery of chlorine solution into the well. The bucket containing the chlorine solution is lowered some distance below the water surface. The well water is agitated by moving the bucket violently both vertically and laterally. This should be done several times so that chlorine solution mixes intimately with water inside the well. Then fifth step is contact period. A contact period of 1 hour is allowed before the water is drawn for use. Means after adding the chlorine solution in the water should be kept undisturbed for at least 1 hour. After the contact period, the test should be done, that is orthotolidine arsenide test. Its details we have already seen in chlorination. It is a good test for testing the residual chlorine at the end of 1 hour contact. If the free residual chlorine level is less than 0.5 mg per liter, the chlorination procedure should be repeated. During the epidemics of cholera, wells should be disinfected every day. Then there is method for using disinfection of wells. The method is double pot method. This method uses two cylindrical pots, one placed inside the other. See in the image, double pot method. The two cylindrical pots kept inside each other. The insides height and diameter are 30 cm and 25 cm respectively for the outer pot. A hole of 1 cm in diameter is made in each pot. In the inner pot, the hole is in the upper portion, and in the outer pot, the hole is at the 4 cm above the bottom. A mixture of 1 kg of bleaching powder plus 2 kg of coarse sand is prepared and slightly moistened with water, and the inner pot is filled with that mixture up to 3 cm below the level of the hole. The inner pot is introduced into the outer one, and the mouth of the latter is closed by polyethylene foil. The use of two pot makes it possible to have a larger holes without the risk of overchlorination. The double pot is lowered into the well by means of rope attached to the well curb. The pot should be immersed at least 1 meter below the water level to prevent damage by buckets used for drawing the water. So it has been found that this device works satisfactorily for 2 to 3 weeks. In a small household wells containing about 4,500 liters of water and having draw off rate 360 to 450 liters per day. Thank you. Here we complete the purification of water on a small scale. We have seen in water purification on large scale and water purification on small scale. We completed this topic here. If anyone have any doubt, you can contact me personally or message me personally. Thank you. If anyone have any doubt, you can call me or contact me personally.